Hello students, this is your course on content marketing. In this video on beginning with website content, we are going to talk about website layout and design. So as we begin this new chapter on website content, need to understand why website forms the foundation or serves as a foundation or the core point of reference for any kind of content marketing strategy that you would be developing in future. Now, a website is where the customer can organically land or can be routed through marketing efforts, which means that this is usually the destination, this is usually the point where a customer is encouraged to come by all your different marketing efforts on the web space. If every other type of content produced by company is of high quality, but the website is ignored, then glaring gaps are left in the brand image, which means that if you are investing hours upon hours and millions of dollars in creating great ad campaigns and knowledge resources which can really impress upon your customers that how you are a thought leader or a market leader, then the same kind of image, same kind of message should be resonating through your website as well. And it should not feel like that your website is like an island which is really disconnected from the rest of the brand message or the brand image. So, in your content strategy itself, the beginning of content marketing design, the beginning of content creation often starts with your website, and that takes care of the layout, the design, and the core pages. Once that is ready, then you move towards creating content resources like blogs, videos, ebooks, and webinars, or any other type of content format which could deliver additional value to your customers. But remember that this is the second step and cannot precede creation of a strong, robust website core content. Once these two are taken care of, the final stage is then social media platforms, which are developed by either promoting the content published on the website or generating new unique content for these platforms itself. So essentially, you have to remember that website serves as the first point of design, the first point of content creation, which have to be taken care of. And that is why in this chapter, we are going to talk about what website layout and design is about, what are the different steps that you can take care of when designing the core pages, what kind of content can go on each page, and how you can optimize your website before moving on to creation of different types of content formats. Now, let's begin by understanding what website design is. Website design takes care of a host of other subcategory of efforts or activities that need to be completed for the website to look like it does to your end customer on various platforms, on various devices. So, the website design captures the content, which should be well thought, informative, readable, concise. It should be rich and unique that helps the website to rank higher on SERPs. And usually, this is where, as a content marketer, you have to work repeatedly and aggressively in coming up with content that can keep your website up to date with the market trends and can make it searchable, accessible to your end customer. You can make adjustments to the content on core pages, and you can keep on updating the resource pages also. But ideally, a website is as good as the content that goes on it, and therefore this is the foremost thing that takes care of ensuring that you have a strong solid website design. Then comes the matter of visual design, which should be appealing, and the website should utilize great graphics to make your potential customer trust your business and professionalism. Having said that, the idea of overall website visual design is not to wow the customer or just to impress them with your creativity. The idea is to have a match between your content and your design so that whatever product or solution or value proposition you are claiming that you have, it should be represented in the most pleasing, most easy to consume manner to your customer, and they should naturally be able to explore your website to become from a prospect to a lead, and from a lead to a converted customer. Then, simplicity is a big element of website design, and visitors must be able to easily find the things they came for on the website. So, your website should not consist of complex and convoluted web design, which I was mentioning in the previous point as well. That the idea of a good visual design is to ensure that the customers can easily find relevant information, relevant content on your website, and not just to aimlessly please them with your creativity and your color schema. The simplicity of your website does not mean, however, that it should have lack of the right color combinations, or the typography is as basic as it can be. You're allowed to have a style, but you have to keep in mind the end goal or objective that you want to achieve through your website. And consistency is very important for your website design as well, because everything on the website need to be uniform and consistent. And it should not be that your homepage looks a different kind of a website, and your product pages looks very different, your resource pages look very different, the selection of buttons, photos, the heading size, the coloring, the overall presentation of content on your website has to be consistent throughout. And as a content marketer, this is a kind of input that you can give to the design and the development team from time to time, to ensure that every single word that you're writing is supported by the right kind of web design. Then your website design have to be intuitive and should anticipate what the customer is thinking, and definitely should try to cater directly to what they need from the website, which means that whatever content you're putting on your website and however you're designing it, it has to be backed by thorough market research and thorough customer research. It also makes sense to study your competitors and study your consumer markets, ask them questions of how they like to find relevant content and what kind of content actually appeals most to them, and then bringing that into effect in your website design. The typography, navigation, and mobile friendliness of your website are another important elements of your website design. Just like visual design is something that critically supports the content on your website, the typography also supports your overall presentation of the content, and therefore you have to make choice of font, the size of font, the spacing, the color, the line length, and in general, how content would look like when a consumer is trying to access it on various devices or various platforms. And that is something that you have to also decide when thinking of your website design. So then navigation is basically making sure that your buttons are put up on the exact locations where you want your customers to make a decision to further explore the website. Then you should be, of course, ensuring that the website is designed so that it can look equally appealing to visitors who are coming from smartphones or tablets, or desktops or laptops. So it should be configured in such fashion that it is user friendly for all sorts of devices. Now, I want to reiterate here that a lot of these elements are of no concern to a content marketer, because your focus usually remains on developing content. Yes, you can give inputs about the visual design, and you can give inputs about the typography, or you can give inputs about how you can make the content more navigable or more simplistic. But what your core focus remains on in website designing is the content, how intuitive it can be, and how consistent it is. And therefore, as a content marketer, you need to first study the website which the company has, and learn how you can make it more intuitive, how you can therefore create future content which would remain consistent with whatever is put up there, or make adjustments to the existing content so that the future content can then become consistent with it. Now, let's begin with website layout, which is the core element of a website design. It is the framework or way in which a website is structured, and it is created keeping the business need and target audience in mind. So, simply speaking, depending upon who your target customer is, what kind of business you are in, what kind of products or services you are selling, your website layout can change. And when I say your website layout can change, it means that the accessibility, the site navigation of the website can change depending upon who the end customer is. So, a B2C site can look very different from a B2B site. Then the colors, the media, and typography can change dramatically depending upon the target customer and depending upon the product or service being sold by the company. We'll see a glimpse of that into the examples that we're going to discuss eventually. The dynamism and functionality of a website can also change depending upon the business need. For example, if you are trying to capture interest and attract users, end users, independent users, with your products or services which are aimed at B2C distribution and sales, then you may be encouraged to, you may be more inclined to include more and more media, more and more JavaScript in your website, making it more dynamic. And that can actually impact your load time and mobile friendliness. And you have to study whether your users will have the patience to wait for the website to load. Is your content powerful enough for them to wait and then access it as and when it is ready for them on whatever device they are using? Or you have to sacrifice the dynamism to improve the functionality. So that is something of a trade-off which is to be decided by content marketers as well as the website managers. And then of course the content consistency is something which is part of the layout and figures in how every page is designed, every page is structured, and to ensure that the consistency is maintained, certain guidelines can be established by content marketers for every type of page and that has to be put up on the website. Now, as content marketers, direct influence on content consistency is definitely something that you can ensure. But in addition to that, you can demand modifications in other aspects of the web layout too, such as you can make recommendations for the right color schema, or what media would go where, or what would be the layout on every page of where the textual content will go, where the media content will go. You can also make recommendations for the site navigation and even the titles or meta description of each page. That can make your overall website content very powerful. Now, let's take a look at a travel website's demo template, which can give you a better understanding of how the website layout can change as per the business need and target audience. Now, for a travel website, the end customer is usually an independent user who is looking for solutions for booking a travel package or perhaps a flight or a hotel. Therefore, the landing page of the website itself, as you can look at the top image, looks very enticing, attractive, and reminiscent of a good travel destination. The CTA is clearly provided as a button for learn more on the landing page itself, and therefore encouraging the customer to explore further. Limited text is given on the first page, and the customer is encouraged to scroll or click on the CTA button so that they can explore whatever they're looking for by getting into the site. And that is the typical style in which the website layout is designed for most travel sites. The rest of the information, like the main menu, any news, the about us section, is provided at the bottom of the homepage, as you can see in the bottom image. And that is something which you don't want the customer to directly jump to. You want their experience on the website to be more exploratory in nature, and therefore all these kind of information is given at the bottom and not at the top, or not as part of the sidebar or a menu icon. Then, as you scroll further, you notice that they have a very clean way of representing their key services, which is hotels, tours, and flights. Uh, Widely used or widely popular icons are used to communicate the service or the value proposition that is inherent to that particular service. And then some write up is provided for each service to communicate to the customer what exactly is this particular travel website's value proposition. As you can see, this is where a content marketer usually comes in, and they have to come up with the copy that would go here on the website to make it most encouraging and most exciting for a customer to explore further. Then the website layout has to, of course, be very visual in nature because it's a travel website after all, and you want the customer to start feeling that nostalgia of previous vacations or that excitement of going to someplace new. So as soon as the key value proposition is communicated, the rest of the website is designed in such fashion that it is very visual. It has a lot of images or dynamic content, and therefore the next scroll itself reveals their most popular packages, making it easy for a customer to go ahead and simply select them. And if they are short of time, or if they want that kind of decision making assistance from the website itself. And as you can see, the detailed information of each package is not given on the home page. It's just the information in terms of the duration of the package and the location, and a representative image of the package is given. Then the company has also provided key competitive advantages which the company offers in the way of why choose us. Again, this is the type of copy which the content marketers have to develop by understanding what is the customer really looking for. This is where we are talking about intuitiveness of the content. So you understand that a customer who is looking to book a travel package may be concerned about travel arrangements, the cost of flights, the customizability of tours, or whether there is a private guide available, whether special activities can be included or are already included, and then what is the kind of price guarantee of this particular provider. So the content marketer has to identify these points which are important to their target customers and build a copy around each of these points to further assure the customer that in choosing this particular service provider, they're not making a mistake. The image which is included here is merely for attraction, or merely for making the content presentable, has definitely no link to the content copy over there. And then there are multiple CTAs spread across the homepage itself, wherein the website can encourage their target customers to join their subscriber list. And this can be considered as a lead generation platform also, where the customer can leave their email and therefore can then be converted through successful email marketing campaigns. The company can also provide information for contact, and then some of their trusted partners and customers can also be mentioned. So this is how a typical travel site is designed, keeping in mind that their end customers are coming with a travel oriented mind frame onto this platform, and therefore the overall experience with the website has to be helpful, has to be supportive, and has to be guiding in nature, and therefore it should be not very pushy. It should be resulting in a positive sale, if not in the first visit, then maybe in a recurring visit, or maybe through a phone call or through an email, which again the website content has made possible as an opportunity through the content itself. Now, if we compare this with another type of website layout, which is for an agency that is offering different types of services to B2B clients, you will notice that the layout and the content is very different. For B2B clients, The idea is that the content should be clean, efficient, communicating productivity, communicating clear values in terms of problem solving, in terms of cost saving, in terms of profit maximizing. So the landing page, again, clear, clean. CTAs are presented in the form of distinct buttons. One is a contact us button, one is a learn more button. Value proposition that is mentioned on the landing page is better solution at your fingertips, and then more description is given at the bottom, encouraging customer to explore and spend some time on the website. Then, just like in the previous case, important links like about, service, case studies, careers, contact us, and about us are given at the bottom of the page along with their social media icons for social sharing. If you would notice in the previous site, the important links talk more about their popular packages and their services, whereas in an agency site, it is quite standard to have an about page, quite standard to have a service page, and at the same time have a resource page, which for this particular agency can be considered as the case studies page. And then they have a careers page as well, which was missing from the travel site because that's a customer facing website altogether. So there is a marked difference in the kind of content that is going up on the website and how it is presented to the customer, just as the business nature and the customer type is changing. As you scroll further, you'll notice that in an agency site, the amount of information given and the overall representation of content becomes more and more crisp and professional, because B2B customers are likely to spend less time on a website, and they want whatever time that is spent in a given session to be productive. They want a lot of information to emerge out of it. So what the company has done is they have mentioned their key value proposition, key solutions, which is market research, consulting, and sales services. And then they have even provided a video which could be a short and yet effective way of communicating to their potential clients, potential customers, that how they can be of value to them. So many site visitors can even prefer to simply view the video and then choose whether they want to exit or explore further rather than reading whatever is on the home page. So this is something which may be missing from a B2C side, where the agenda is to increase the session time. Here the agenda is to make the session more productive rather than long. Then, as you proceed further, you can also notice that some key achievements of the company are provided. Then, the number of buyers, the year of experience, successful projects completed, number of team members they have, and how this has created a strong brand, a strong agency brand, is something which can be explored by any new potential customers. Once again, a secondary CTA is provided to any site user with the learn more button, where if you want assistance, if you want to learn more about the company and what exactly is it that they offer, how they can improve your business or support you in your business growth, then there is additional information, additional content which is there with the company, and you are encouraged to explore that further with this particular CTA button. As you move further, the executive team, their brief bios, their photos, and their social media profile links are also provided, something very different from what we saw in case of the travel site, where no such information is given. Because when it comes to an agency business, your B2B customers would like to know who are the people behind the business and what kind of roles they are playing, and this creates some kind of trust, this creates some kind of credibility within the business itself. When we are talking about a travel site, this is not a customer's expectation, and they are fine with dealing with just the system and not with any particular representative or any particular human intervention is expected. But in agency business, in B2B transactions, putting a human face uh, to the company and therefore humanizing the overall experience is something that is a recipe for success, and therefore this kind of information is given on the homepage itself. Moving further, you'll notice that the company also touts about their growth rate for the last 10 years and give information about some of their achievements. Once again, encouraging their potential customers to learn more about the company, forming some positive image about the brand, and then if not, they exploring further, at least getting motivated to contact the company for getting a quote or understanding their services or understanding their products better. This kind of information is also something which is, if to be promoted on a B2C site, would usually go on the landing page itself, where they would call themselves the best brand of a particular year or in a given market. And such detailed information like how much of a profit per year has increased, how much investment per year has increased, how much of ROI is given. This kind of data will not be given in a B2C travel site, whereas this can very well be considered as a standard practice in a B2B site. So the layout evolves, the content type evolves as the business need evolves. And that is something that as a content marketer you have to keep in mind when coming up with the content copy for the website that you are designing. Now, lastly, your role in ensuring that your website design is effective. It will do the work of supporting your subsequent content marketing campaign. You have to ensure that there is content consistency on the website as well, which means that every page of the website, every single click by a user on your website would lead to the same quality, the same tone, the same kind of content that you're presenting to them on the previous page. And to do that, what you have to do is keep these four critical criteria or elements in mind. The first one being the buyer persona, understanding who your target buyer is, thinking of them, and then deciding on the content which you have to create. So if you are in the B2C space and you're offering products or services which are more personal in nature, you can perhaps have a playful, inspiring, or casual tone to connect with your target buyers. But if you're in the B2B space and you're providing services on which millions can be depending for the company that is going to buy from you, then having an authoritative, professional, or an overall warm yet inspiring kind of tone is important, so that you can connect with your target buyer in the right way. Similarly, you also need to understand the tone or establish a clear tone for every web content that is going to go live on your website. And you can choose to be authentic, you can choose to be honest, humble, personal. If again your products or solutions are more technical in nature, and the objective of having a website is information sharing, or the objective of having the website is establishing yourself as a thought leader, then you can perhaps have a direct or an academic or a witty tone. Then at the same time, your tone should be matching with the language that you're using. And if you have a direct, academic, and witty kind of a tone, and you're trying to establish yourself as a authoritative or a professional content provider through your website, then it makes sense that your language should, to some extent, be savvy and jargon filled and serious. Whereas if you're trying to have an honest, humble, personal kind of a tone for your website, so that you can connect with your customers in a playful or inspiring or casual manner, and it's fine to have a fun or a whimsical or simple language which is easily understandable by majority of your target customers. Lastly, it's important to understand the purpose What exactly are you trying to do in your messaging? Are you trying to inform your customers? Are you trying to educate them? Are you attempting to engage them by providing repeatedly value adding content? Are you trying to amuse them or impress them? Is your end goal to motivate or promote or entertain your customer? And then let the content which is being designed for various website pages be guided by this particular purpose, and it should not depart from this final goal. And taking care of this would ensure that there is a general content consistency on your website. Now, that's about website design and layout. Next up, we'll talk about web pages content, taking care of 6 to 8 critical or core website pages, and what kind of content would go in each type of page, which would form the foundation of your content marketing strategy. Until then, thank you.